the games have started. Knight f3 from Hikaru Nakamura. We had seen him doing this knight f3, b3 a lot recently, and especially in shorter time formats. And now, if you're a Blitz player, you take on f6, yes. You take on f6, and you switch to Trompovsky style of positions. e3, d4. Okay, he doesn't play... well, sometimes they don't play d4. Bishop g2, castle, then they want to play d4 and then c4. It's very much resembles Trompovsky. And
okay,
then
the black bishop is on g7 instead of d6.
Yeah.
That's kind of a difference.
And white bishop on g2 as well. I mean, there is a plan with white bishop on g2, right?
However, I wanted to say that if you're really going to take bishop takes f6, I'm going to go g6. Because I'm not afraid of bishop takes f6 in these structures.
Okay, rook to c1. Yeah, but kind of the benefit of having the pawn on b3 is that it's you who is going to decide when to take on d5. Sometimes in Trompovsky with pawn on b2, white goes c4, black takes and tries to use the d5 square. Now if you take with black on c4, of course white recaptures with the pawn and gets a lot of control.
Wow, g5,
well,
this is
h5,
something new.
g5, this is serious. I mean, so it's like essentially neglecting all what we've heard about positional chess. Right, like so all the weaknesses, weakening the structure, but the message is clear. I will go h4 and I will try to mate you.
I mean, if black gets to go h5, h4, then it's positionally completely sound, and if white goes h4, then after g takes h4, knight takes h4, I have bishop f6 kicking the knight, and then with h5, h4
anyway.
breaking, so it's not...
Queen d3. Hikaru kind of allows h4, but then he wants to go queen b5 check and disrupt black's attack.
So maybe I need to lose a tempo on a6, but at least stabilize my queen side.
Yeah, well, the more I look, the more I understand that the idea is not bad at all. Yeah, right, because we were taught that you attack on one of the wings when you have stable center, right? So here, technically, the center is not blocked, but how do you get rid of the knight on e4? The knight on e4 is so powerful, so it kind of cements the center, and it's not that easy for white to create a counterplay. And even this quiet move, a7, a6, just covering b5, shows that black is in no rush. I mean, so he believes in his position that he can play it slowly, he can develop his initiative on the king side.
Maybe white should just double with rook c2, rook fc1.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Also, it is useful to get f1 square, so that, okay, Hikaru decides otherwise. Knight e5. Knight e5, okay, black gets the chance to play h4. And now it's a question. What do you do? Knight c3. I'm wondering if black just goes like takes, queen f6, queen h6. I mean, it's straightforward. Because you really need some tactic to work, otherwise, you know, queen d6. Okay. So it's kind of more harmonious as well, attacking the knight on e5.
I feel that black is perfectly fine.
Yeah, the feeling is such that, yeah, there can't be any issues for black. And I'm not a big fan of this knight c3 move, because the knight is not going anywhere but taking on e4, and taking on e4 seems bad.
Rook d8 probably?
Yeah, like rook d8. So he also solidified the center to a certain degree, right? With this queen d6, rook d8, knight a4. Okay, the knight is headed towards c5, I believe. And
Sarana is ahead on the clock. Look at this. I mean, Hikaru is famous of being the fastest on earth.
Yeah, but not in this particular game. So what do? I'm wondering what is the useful move for black, because my point is, like, we say take on g3, pass, he goes knight c5, we go bishop c8, and then clearing the 6th rank for the queen to go to h6.
Yeah. But this is now a psychological moment, because most probably there is nothing wrong of taking the pawn.
Yeah, right, but you don't want to kind of change the character of the position, because white gets some square, white kind of gets some activity. Yeah, bishop e5, challenge accepted, but I believe, well, it could be that Hikaru is not necessarily unhappy with this decision. Yes, queen d4, at least exchanging the queens, and he, in a way, ensures himself from being terribly bad.
Yeah, but in fact you are pawn down in an endgame.
Pawn in the endgame, but I believe white's chances, I mean, especially in this time control, white's chances of survival are, you know, decent.
Yeah, but we are talking about holding. Yeah, white is in no way playing for an advantage here.
Absolutely. I mean, I was just worried that he will get mated. I mean, if he would continue making some random moves for Okay, knight is put on b6. Actually, now black will be presented with a problem. How do we protect the pawn on d5? Wait a second. What's after rook d6?
Rook c7 check.
Ah, there is a check on c7. Anyway, rook d6 played.
Because there is knight c5 at the end. I mean, rook c7 check, king f6.
King f6, rook b7, knight c...
Rook c6, wow,
Rook
going for a
C6,
counter-attack.
Going for a counter-attack, yeah.
Wow.
And then if you go rook d1, there is knight d6. So knight c5, white would have rook c7. But this way, rook c6 planning for knight d6.
But after knight d6, I have knight takes d5. So knight d6
So
should
rook
not
d1
move. I saw the rook c2 is the idea.
Yeah, rook c2. Okay, Hikaru takes on d5 at once, and rook takes. So check bishop f1. Is there a way for black? I mean, there should be a way for black. Check bishop f1, g4, knight g5, knight f3. This should be made.
No, okay, but it takes time.
But what can white?
And all of a sudden, white is pawn up, yeah. And so
Yeah,
this,
then white is pawn up. Yeah, you obviously give a check. Okay,
the
bishop
fight
f1.
for initiative continues.
At g4 there is rook b6, and
Yeah.
then you will have to go to g5. I mean, it's not that it's like terribly bad, but yeah, not that easy to get there, right? g4 played. Okay. Now rook d7 would be a terrible mistake because black goes knight g5, protects f7, attacks f3, right? So rook b6 check, I feel, has to be given so that to force the king to g5. Okay, that's pretty sharp. And now Hikaru proves that he is fastest on earth. He is almost on 1 minute while his opponent is down to less than 20 seconds. Rook b6 played. Okay, good or bad, but you have to go to g5.
No, not necessarily. Maybe to g7 because you have knight d2.
Ah, okay, the pawn cannot be taken. Rook b4 attacking the knight. Okay, that's tricky.
Okay, king moves back.
King
to
moves
f6.
to g6. You could go to g6 so that after check you have f6.
Yeah.
Actually, it looked very strong. So knight c3 was played, rook e5, king f6 now. Okay, rook to a5. Back to e4. Now king g5. Now rook f4 would be a blunder because of knight e2 check.
Yeah.
e4. Yeah, using the fact that knight cannot take on e4. Now white should be winning, it feels like. I mean, there is still... no, wait, rook is coming to d1. What I'm talking about. What winning? Black's counterplay is still strong. Black's counterplay is still strong. I don't believe white can lose this anymore. Because, say, I go rook b6, rook b7, attack f7 pawn, and if you go rook d1, there will be a perpetual.
Yeah, also if you eliminate the g4 pawn, your king always runs out.
The king will run out. The problem, however, is that I might lose the bishop on f1, so perhaps the game is going to continue. So Hikaru himself is down to not much, 10 seconds, rook b7, rook d1. Okay, takes on f7, and then he's planning to take the pawn on g4, I believe, and continue the game. Other check, king e6, check, no, there is no way. Looks like there is no way.
But Sarana is like 5 seconds or 6 seconds. Nakamura is 10 seconds, yeah.
Rook f7, king to e6, Hikaru will still...
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, there is no way, it's a draw.
Yeah, he's
It's got to
shaking
be a
his
draw.
head.
Rook e7, king f6.
Yeah, he will settle for draw with this little
Okay,
time.
yeah, they've agreed the draw.